we're all getting to that age where eventually we'll have to go out and get a job and join the real world. With this becomes a lot of responsibilities and expectations. One of these expectations is that we are all able to cook. As we go and join the real world, we'll be expected to take food to family functions and work gatherings, so it's very important that we all know how to cook a few simple and easy dishes. One of these dishes that I'm going to be showing you today is a cookie, and it's very simple and easy to make. I've been making it since I was 12, so that shows you just how easy it is for all of us to make. This cookie that I'm making today is called a no-bake cookie, and so I'm going to be talking to you about how to prepare it, how to make it, and then letting it cool in the end, and that'll be all the steps to make your cookie. So the first thing to do when making a no-bake cookie is to be prepared. And so that means making sure that your hair is back if you're a girl, putting it up in a ponytail so it doesn't get in your food, or if you're a guy with long hair, making sure it's out of your face so it's not dropping in food, because that's really gross. Also make sure that you wash your hands, so I'll do that right now. That way they're clean, so that if you're touching anything that your guests are going to eat, then it's not gross and disgusting, it's just more sanitary. Okay. And then the last thing to do is to check your ingredients and make sure that you have them all. And so for this recipe, it calls for 1 cup of sugar, 1/8 cup of Hershey's cocoa, a 1/4 cup of milk, 1½ cups of quick oats, and the quick oats work better for no-bake cookies, a 1/2 cup of peanut butter, and a 1/2 tablespoon of vanilla. And so I went ahead and I pre-measured all of them just to make it a little bit easier for this so that it would go a little bit faster. And you also need a 1/2 cup of butter. So now that we're prepared, we're able to make our cookies. And so as I said before, this is a really simple recipe. It takes about 10 minutes to go from start to finish. And so the step 1 is to go ahead and add your sugar, and your cocoa, and then your milk, and the butter. And then you want to stir it. Gonna come look at it. You'll start off by mixing it all together. And I went ahead and turned on the oven. And it says it needs to be on a medium speed to cook it. And then we'll go ahead and we'll wait for it to start to boil, and then it needs to boil for 1 minute, and then it will be ready to make. And so usually while I'm waiting for this step to happen, I make sure that all my other ingredients are ready to go, and I also make sure that my foil is out, because afterwards when I'm all done putting everything in, I'll come over and I'll drop them onto the foil. So I was kind of just getting everything ready so that I'm ready for the next steps. You come back over and check on it. And you have to be really careful when making no-bake cookies that you don't get the cocoa too hot, because if you make the cocoa too hot, it's basically like a chocolate when it's mixed in with the liquids, and so then it'll be burnt and it'll have a really burnt chocolatey tasting, which isn't very good. So you can see it's already starting to bubble a little bit, which it doesn't take very long at all to make it ready to go, which is what makes this recipe so simple and easy and so nice to make. You come with that, it's starting to bubble a little bit. And another thing with these are chocolate peanut butter no-bake cookies, but you can actually also make just peanut butter no-bake cookies, which is pretty much the exact same thing, but you just leave out the cocoa. and they're just as good. They just taste a little bit different. So it's also really easy, and just like these, they take no time at all. This one you can see it's just a little bit in the pan. I chose to go ahead and make the recipe in half, just because that way I don't have 60 cookies laying around, because I practiced before this too, so then there's not double that amount. So that just makes it a little bit easier, and then you're not forcing cookies on everyone if they don't want them. You're supposed to stir it occasionally so that everything gets all mixed in. And it's starting to boil right now, and it has been for a few seconds, so in about 30 seconds we'll be able to add everything else in, and then it'll be all done. And this is what it should look like when it's boiling. You can see all throughout it, not just around the edges, but in the middle it's boiling as well. And like I said, make sure not to let it boil for too long, otherwise you will cook your chocolate too long and they will not taste as well. Okay. So now that they're done boiling, go ahead and bring them over here. And then our next step is to add in 1½ cups of the oatmeal. And then 1/2 cup of peanut butter. And it works best to use a spatula to get your peanut butter out of the jar and also into your pan, just because otherwise it sticks to the spoon and you don't get as much. And then the 1/2 tablespoon of vanilla. Everything gets all mixed in. And it's already starting to smell really good. So as you can see, it's all really mixed in well. You want to make sure that the peanut butter is not big clumps of it anywhere. And you can see the chocolate's gone all around everything, all the oatmeal. So once it's all mixed in and stirred really, really well, now we're ready for our final step, which is to drop it by spoonfuls onto this aluminum foil. And so you can drop it in as big or as small spoonfuls as you want. The bigger that you make them, the bigger cookies you'll have, and the smaller you make them, the smaller cookies you'll have. So it's kind of just up to you, whatever you decide to do. I usually like to make them smaller because it seems that people like to eat smaller cookies better than the bigger ones. And then you just spread it all out, making sure they don't get too close so they don't run into each other and then you have one giant cookie. And then after they're all dropped onto here, it takes them about 30 to 45 minutes to completely cool before you can eat them. They have to set up before you can eat them. And you can also put them in their fridge if you're in a hurry and you want to get them faster. And that'll make them set up a lot quicker. And so from here, you just wait until they're ready to go, and then they're all done. So there you have it. All it takes to do is a quick, simple, easy recipe to make no-bake cookies. You just have to make sure you're prepared, make them, and then let them cool. And there you go. No-bake cookies in 10 minutes. now I'm gonna let my audience actually try some that I made earlier.